The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Shop new looks for the new year at Macy's one-day sale. Going on now with deals of the day like sweaters from Clubroom, Alfani, Inc., and more. $19.99 to $29.99. And get 40 to 60% off coats and boots. Then add the finishing touch to any look with fine jewelry clearance 70% off. Plus, get your .com orders fast with contact-free curbside pickup. Or you can pick them up inside the store. For details, visit Macy's.com. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
All right. We're back. Unintentional break, but whatever. We did it. We are here. You know, the electric company tried to silence you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was a brownout in my neighborhood, and I didn't even know. And all my electronics just stopped working. And I don't know. I was kind of pissed off about it because, you know, the electric company has ways to contact everyone, like more ways than ever now. And, you know, a brownout in the area and the fact that they're going to be working on it, usually they give you a heads up. Be like, hey, you might want to unplug your appliances. But no, I was just left to wonder why my router from Xfinity stopped working.
Just had to figure it out.
Well, because of the brownout, it didn't have enough power, so it just kept rebooting over and over again. And so I not knowing that there was a brownout and thinking that there was a problem with my router, I called Xfinity and they're like, "Oh, that's normal when it can't find a signal." Like, oh,
no, it's not.
Really? It's normal for it to like just shut down, the fan stops, all the lights go out, and then it reboots, and it just does that every 30 seconds because it can't find a signal. Come on.
Yeah, but hey, we did it. We're here. Fuck the... You know what I've realized between today and yesterday, the conversations we had on Unregimented? How do we start our own electric company? It's like the one business you could start where if you end up being, you know, you won't have any competition.
But I don't think...
Oh, no, we'd have to buy TTE? Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Then
I don't know.
Just give shitty customer service.
Well, we'd have to
figure deal with it.
How would we make electricity? That would be the first thing that we'd have to tackle.
Do we need like a kite and a key? We have to start there.
Right. And that would transfer to, you have all these rodents on wheels.
Yes. And then...
well, you know, it's a startup, so if we really wanted it to be successful, we'd have to be putting in, 50, 60-hour weeks ourselves, so we'd probably just be cranking the whole time.
Maybe somewhere we hook something up to like an elliptical.
Yeah.
Lose some weight while we do it.
We have to literally be cranking. Like, we'd be, cranking the generator.
Oh, like that bike that was at the Detroit Science Center? You rode the bike and the light bulb went on?
Oh, yeah. Right.
It's just you and I on a couple of those.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
Right. Yeah. Amazon started out of a garage. So what? So did Apple. No, wait. Amazon wasn't it his living room? I don't know. Whatever. It's his house, and he made $13 billion on Monday.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I just gave him another 13, not billion, just $13.
I got a free Amazon item. And
How did you get a free item?
I wasn't even trying to work the system. I ordered my little combo. It's a USB charger. It's a dual port. You can either plug it in a wall or you can put it in a cigarette lighter. It's perfect for traveling.
Yeah.
Mine broke, and I ordered a new one. And I ordered it. It was supposed to be to my hotel on Thursday, and it didn't show up Thursday. I said, "Oh, it'll be there Friday or Saturday." I'm like, "Well, hope it's Friday, not Saturday, because I'm not going to be here Saturday."
Oh, yeah.
And then get get to my hotel yesterday, and it gets to be like 5, 6 o'clock, still not delivered. I'm like, well, I'm going to contact them, tell them I want a refund. Just tell them, like, hey, refund for this. It's not going to be here. The address that I'm being shipped to, I'm not going to be here tomorrow because I'm going to be, 900 miles away in Michigan. So, just give me a refund. I'm like, okay, cool. And sure shit, after that happens, a half hour later, the phone rings in the hotel room. Hey, you got a package. All right. And then before I came down here, as I'm walking down here, I got notifications on my phone. Hey, your refund's been processed. I'm like, huh. Well, free item. But, he made $13 billion on Monday, so I'm sure he's not going to miss the 1069. I got refunded.
Yeah. Yeah, Bezos is sitting in his living room going line by line.
Snap the
like a
pencil.
spreadsheet.
You lost $11 in Michigan.
Who's this dude in Michigan? Trying to scam us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, that's how you stay a billionaire.
That's true.
Micromanaging.
Yeah.
I don't, I've been paying for Amazon Prime because, you get better shipping deals and all that, and supposed to get stuff quicker. I don't know. I mean, I thought I was paying for next day delivery on most items, but it's about 3 days usually.
Yeah, definitely since COVID, that 2-day shipping shit is out the window. Well, on most things, I've ordered a few things where it's like, hey, you get it tomorrow, and then you get it tomorrow, or those have turned into 2 days,
or they hand it off to the post office,
and that's their mistake.
Oh,
that's when the shit runs late. When they're not the ones delivering it, that's when it runs late.
And I have no beef with the post office in general. I mean, they do a fairly consistent job, and
it's just who they're run by.
Well, yeah, but I think it's the combination. It's when it ships from Amazon and gets the handoff to the post office. That's when it's going to take the longest.
Yeah, I'd rather have the blue Amazon truck deliver. Because it's shown up on time if they never have to hand it off. Because I believe those people get, drumroll please, incentivized. Unlike the mail carriers, fucking it gets here when it gets here.
Yeah, that's true. I have to make sure I go easy on my vape.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know how the supply has been on the medical side, but things are starting to dry up on the recreational side. Even though I was reading stories all week about how prices are coming down and availability of products are increasing on recreational sales in Michigan. It's definitely not been reflected at my local shop. And for the past almost month now, they haven't had any of the CO2 cartridges. Right? Not me. The I don't know what to call any of this shit.
The NC2 or whatever the fuck they are. The ones that screw into vape batteries. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The C-cell pods.
Yes. There we go. C-cell.
But they're all C-cell pods. But mostly what I've been getting are the ones where they do the extraction with the CO2. And those have become unavailable on the recreational side for some reason. They said all we have are the terpene tanks, which is a brand name, but it's live resin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more expensive. It's more concentrated. It has a different flavor. So I paid, instead of paying $75 for a gram of concentrates, I paid $60 and I got a half gram.
Damn.
But it doesn't even, it looks like a stingy half gram. Like, you guys couldn't even fill this thing up.
Well, it's a lot of, trust me, I have that every so often too, but what I've learned talking to the bud tenders is there's a certain amount of evaporation that happens just sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, I get that. It's like the potato chip bags. everyone likes to make jokes about how much air you're paying for in your potato chips, and I'm like, what? Yeah,
It's done by weight.
It's done by weight, not volume.
Yeah.
And the extra air in there is so that your chips aren't crushed into dust by the time you get them.
Yeah. People tend to like whole potato chips.
Yeah.
Man, I will.
But yeah, the man is trying to screw you. Yeah, the man is trying to screw you, just not on potato chips.
Yeah.
That's not the plan.
And also, that's what the man does. Yeah. It's how do you think most of this country got here? I think bridges got built. I think McDonald's became what it is. The man.
But yeah, I have this live resin cartridge, and I don't know, it's definitely more flavorful. It tastes closer to smoking cannabis.
Say if you're one of those people that likes the weed flavored weed, those cartridges are for you. Which I'm one of those people. Like I said, the one time I had a cartridge and I was like, the fuck, it tastes like frosting. There's a market for that shit, and it ain't. And it ain't us.
Yeah, with the added flavor cartridges, no thank you.
Yeah, I had a whole cartridge that tasted like a smoking vanilla frosting.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, this doesn't have that chemical aftertaste that some of the other, whatever you want to call them, concentrates have.
Well, I'm thinking BHO is going the way of the dinosaur. I can't tell you the last time I saw any butane oil.
Yeah, I think that's just straight out. It's just they've discovered too many different ways of extracting the THC from the plant that doesn't involve highly, highly flammable materials, highly combustible stuff.
Yeah, or something, or something that could give you cancer.
Or that, yeah.
I'll tell you though, it got me a week detox for the first time in a while. I don't need to. I've only seemed to be needing a couple hits from this thing every time.
Well, that's what it kind of feels like hitting this. I haven't detoxed at all, but just making the transition from the carts that I have been getting to the live resin stuff. I think you and I talked about this with the concentrates before. There seems to be a cap to it.
Yeah.
To how high you can get. Whereas if I was rolling up blunts and smoking them, I could smoke until I pass out. But with the concentrates, it felt like, you would reach a ceiling and you just wouldn't get any higher. And you didn't necessarily need to, but I also didn't feel like I went full on over into the I'm just going to pass out now.
Yeah.
Type of high. So in that way, it does help you kind of manage it well. But with the live resin stuff, that's all back. If I take a couple really big hits off of this thing, I will get too high. You ever get so high that you're not just out of it or passing out, but you kind of feel like it's not painful, but you feel like you've been smacked upside the head. You've got this kind of taste in the back of your throat, like you would get when you were a kid when you took a bad spill off your bike. Do you know that? The just kind of you didn't hurt anything in particular. You just kind of got a shock to your system.
You just dazed.
Kinda. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's just anxiety that I was experiencing. I was getting a bit of what do you call it?
Vertigo?
No. Paranoia.
Damn. What is the brand of this cartridge?
This is terpene tanks. These are available all over Michigan.
I've seen those.
And honestly, when I first got the cart, and I'm just doing the math on I'm getting a half gram of concentrate for $60 versus I was getting a full gram for $75. So I'm thinking, I'm not necessarily getting screwed. I'm getting a different product, and I realize it's supposed to be a better product. am I going to notice the difference? And the fact is, I do notice a difference. And plotting my consumption out over, the number of days that I've had this cartridge versus how much I paid for it, I really didn't pay hardly anything more than what I was paying for the traditional cartridges. I was consuming less because it is more concentrated and it's a different type of high that I felt like I just didn't need as much to get high. And consequently, it ended up, if I was getting 2 weeks out of a full gram CO2 cart, I was getting a week out of this half gram of live resin. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I'm going to go back, because even though it looks like on paper it's a more expensive way to get it, if it's going to last me longer, and actually I feel like I have more control over my high too.
Really?
I can take a little bit, and if I've got stuff to do but I just want to take the edge off the day or something, I can just get a little bit high, or I can go full on. I'm going to take, 3 big puffs off of this thing and just totally zone out on a movie.
A little bit more for Santa Claus, a little bit more for Santa Claus. I can dig it.
Yeah, and I'm not really up on all the extraction processes that exist for all this stuff now. I guess the reason they call it live resin is because they're not... The way that they get the THC off the plant doesn't involve like crushing it or pulverizing it or drying it or curing it in any way. So I guess it sounds like it's the closest to like the best and most pure concentrate would be if you had somebody just literally scrape all the crystals and oil off of the leaves.
Isn't that, what was it? Isn't it Resin Tech? Where it's essentially like you just squeeze the bud and that's how you get it?
I wonder if that's the same thing. I mean, it sounds similar, but I don't know. I think for the live resin, there's a process of freezing it. So I think it's just like freezing the plant and then running water over it and straining out all the plant material. And then what's left over is not just the THC crystals, but it's also a lot of the terpenes from the plant as well, which is why they call it, some people call it terp butter, or why this brand is called terpene tanks.
Good old terpenes. No, I'm still getting $25 a cartridge.
Yeah, well, fuck that.
Definitely reinvesting in the medical card.
Yeah, like I said, there were stories that I was reading this week about how recreational prices in Michigan are finally coming down, and I'm like, where? Point me to them.
Yeah, please tell me. I will be their biggest customer. They seem to
be going up for me.
I wonder, are there still shops opening up, even in the midst of... Well, yeah, probably. There's a demand for this shit. And they're allowed to be open.
I haven't noticed any new shops popping up in our area, but in areas where they don't have any shops, like, mid-Michigan, northern Michigan, UP, yeah, there's definitely been places that have been opening up over the last few months. As far as fully opening up, I know that they're still doing the curbside pickup at my place, and they've got a whole system worked out now.
Really?
Where there's they've probably rented or worked out a deal with the parking lot that's across the street from them, and they've divided into lanes, and they've got little car covers over parts of the lane, so people that are the first in line, if they're in the pole position ready to be served next, they have a little shaded area that they can sit in.
Did I tell you I went to my dispensary? No, I didn't. We didn't record. I actually went to for the first time since March.
They opened up their lobby.
Yeah, well, yeah, sort of. I mean, they're just regulating the amount of people they let in. You know,
okay.
I got hit with the thermometer on my way in, and then you have to wear a mask.
They have, like, just on an IR gun or something like that. They shoot at your forehead.
Yep. And then and they're controlling the door, and then there's only so many people allowed in the lobby, and then so many people allowed in the bud room.
Yeah, the place that I go to, they announced that they were opening up their lobby in the morning, and by the afternoon they announced that their lobby is indefinitely closed. So I don't know what happened that morning, but some sort of clusterfuck, I imagine.
Probably some. You can't make me wear. Probably, one of those assholes probably ruined it for you guys. But but by Spencer's parking lot, same thing. Like all of a sudden now, there's like all these. There's all these numbered parking spaces.
Yep.
And signed like they'd pull here and it's. Hey man, they adapted. They do what successful businesses do. Successful industries do.
Yeah, and why go back?
Right?
Now that you've... I guess it might be different once winter hits in Michigan, but who knows? I mean, it's probably no fun to be schlepping stuff back and forth, in 95-degree weather, and it will be just as unpleasant to do it in, 30-degree weather. So I don't know.
I may just... excuse me, keep getting stuff delivered.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I went is I had to get my flying medication, which apparently I'm not going to need for a while. But
because you won't be flying?
Yeah. As soon as I get out there Monday, my boss is like, "Hey guys, don't book any more trips." Like, cool.
Yeah. You realize I'm on one now.
I'm on one now in the belly of the COVID beast.
Yeah. While you were traveling, we all had a meeting here.
Yeah.
Decided we don't need you to be traveling right now.
If I'm a betting man, I bet I get one more trip for the year.
Yeah.
I'll probably get out in September, and then flu season hits.
Right.
So, but weed. Well, we got that because of COVID. Everything's got COVID attached to it somehow now. This will not stand. Come on, science. Move it. Let's go.
You sound like you're paranoid. You're looking at everything around you like everything could have COVID on it.
It's just connected to it.
Yeah.
Our whole life.
No, yeah.
COVID's connected to everything now. Every part of our life. Because it's a worldwide thing. This is like a world war. This is our world war.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Shop new looks for the new year at Macy's one-day sale. Going on now with deals of the day like sweaters from Clubroom, Alfani, Ink, and more. $19.99 to $29.99. And get 40 to 60% off coats and boots. Then add the finishing touch to any look with fine jewelry clearance 70% off. Plus, get your .com orders fast with contact-free curbside pickup. Or you can pick them up inside the store. For details, visit Macy's.com. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Shop new looks for the new year at Macy's one-day sale. Going on now with deals of the day like sweaters from Clubroom, Alfani, Ink, and more. $19.99 to $29.99. And get 40 to 60% off coats and boots. Then add the finishing touch to any look with fine jewelry clearance 70% off. Plus, get your .com orders fast with contact-free curbside pickup. Or you can pick them up inside the store. For details, visit Macy's.com. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Well, it's starting to make a real dent in our entertainment, the thing that's helping to keep us indoors now.
I don't understand. Are we about to talk about all these movies that got postponed? I don't understand. Yeah. Why? Just put them out. Put them out on... We have... How many more times do we have to do this experiment? Put it out on fucking Netflix and more people will fucking see it.
Right, but it's not that you can't monetize that properly. It's that they didn't do that when they made the movie. They made Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan film. Mm-hmm. That's starring Denzel Washington's kid. What's his name? He's from he's on Ballers. He's my favorite character on Ballers.
No clue.
You don't watch Ballers? I love that show. But anyways, he's really good. And the movie Tenet looks great. But that movie was made based on, well, this is a Christopher Nolan film. Everyone's going to go see it in the theater. And it was... And Christopher Nolan's very much, proponent of theaters. He doesn't want to release his movies direct to video. He's making things with the intent that they be watched in the theater. So I get that.
Yeah, well,
but
adapt, Holmes. I mean, just do the Hulu.
Right.
Hulu is well known for like quote unquote in-app purchases, or put it on Amazon. Like, yeah, put it on Amazon, fucking $20. You can watch this thing. Like, there's plenty of ways to monetize it.
Right. Well, like the Old Guard was seems like a success story. That was a movie starring Charlize Theron. So fucking every award-winning actor that's been in movies that have made just billions of dollars. And she makes a movie with Netflix that gets released exclusively on their platform. They have already had the movie set and ready to go. They were just waiting for a good time to release it. And no time like now.
Yeah.
When people can't go out to the movie theaters and you're like, hey, we've got movies, and not just like weirdo movies of nobody you've ever heard of before. We've got like big name stars going on in this film. So, but that was made, and that was made with the intention of that it was going to go on a streaming service, that people weren't going to be paying anymore for this, that this was going to add value to the $10, $12, $15 that people were already paying. And it was also made on, it's a superhero-y kind of, it involves supernatural stuff, immortal people. It's kind of like a modern day take on the Highlander story. And it is based on a comic book, but it's not, a $1 billion Avengers epic. It was made for much less money. Whereas, Tenet and all the movies that would have come out that have been delayed, Black Widow, Wonder Woman, probably another Mission Impossible or something. Oh no, it was the Top Gun remake.
Yep, Quiet Place 2. Yeah, I saw the whole
that got
list.
delayed.
Yeah.
Oh, Fast and Furious. There's supposed to be another one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So all these were made with the idea that people are going to go to the theater. This is what they're going to pay. We're expected to get this much money.
So make it pay-per-view. Like this. Put it on Amazon. You got to pay $20. We all have huge TVs. We all got decent sound systems now. Why do I have to sit with a bunch of fucking strangers and pay high markup on snack food?
I don't have a lot of money to throw around on an entertainment system, but for shit, I have a $300 TV, and I have I think I paid about $125 used for a Sony surround sound system.
Yeah.
It's a little old school, bigger speakers, everything's wired, but it all works great and sounds great. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it. And that's my home theater, and it looks and sounds fantastic. I've got a big subwoofer, the explosions just boom.
Yeah.
Everything just looks fantastic. And I'm not even 1080. I believe my TV's still 720. It doesn't matter. It looks great. I have a great home theater system.
I bet Christopher Nolan subscribed to Pono.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I get it. Filmmaking's an art and all. Yeah, great. You know what? It's a pandemic. You want to make your loot? You put it online. You put it online for $20. Everyone's got their big screen TVs and their sound bars or their surround sounds. What's it up to? 5.1. What's it now? Like 40-1? Who the fuck knows?
Like, I've seen a lot of 7.1 systems, which I'm not sure how that works. Because you have front and back, that's 4. And then you have a center, so that's 5. So I guess maybe you have like 2 side speakers as well.
That would make sense.
I guess so you could get more like 3D sound.
I guess. I moved the old system that was in the living room. I finally set it up in the studio. You know, so now because basically I've turned it into it's a podcast studio / my home office. So like, you know, I listen to my
/ man cave.
Yeah. I listen to like my podcast while I'm down here working. Or when Mandy's watching something now and I'll come down here, hook up my laptop.
Yep.
You know, like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some money is better than nothing, right? Because the pay-per-view model, they're not going to get the same money that they would get from the box office. A pay-per-view, I don't know what the most they could pay for or charge for a new release. But if I just taking my kids out to the theater, I'm dropping $30 on tickets, right?
Yeah. For
the 3 of us. And the pay-per-view or whatever, you know, rental model you use is not going to be $30. I'm not going to pay $30 to stream a movie into my house.
Yeah, but also if you think about it, they'll keep more of there's no overhead. There's no middleman. They don't have to let the theater have a piece.
While there is overhead, I mean, you have to pay Amazon or whatever, you know, whatever platform somebody's using. They get a healthy cut, I'm sure.
I think both people in this equation get to make more money, because then too, like the theaters then they got to pay I'm sure now there's no more projectionists, it's all computers.
Yeah.
But you got to pay the concession stand workers, all that crap.
Sure.
The electric bill, all that. You know, the building is a big piece of overhead.
Yep. I understand the hesitation, I understand the reasons why they're holding back these bigger films and not going to video on demand or something like that. But it's short-sighted.
Yeah.
It's betting on next summer this will all be in the rearview mirror and people are going to pack into theaters and, you know, we're going to do record numbers on the new Christopher Nolan film. I'm like, yeah, you think next summer everything's going to be back to normal? Are you sure about that? And also, I mean, who knows what's going to happen between now and then? Whether it's a different version or a mutation of COVID, or whether it just comes back stronger or never goes away, or we don't get the vaccine when we think we are going to. So you're betting on all of that, on us, on the whole world handling COVID correctly, and you're going to make your $1 billion off your Marvel and Christopher Nolan films next summer. So you're just going to hold off. What's going to happen in the meantime? Somebody's going to leak that shit. Right? And yeah, I mean, it's not about just when it was reels and your movie was in the theater, and the best somebody could hope for was that somebody took a handy cam into the theater and got some shaky first row shot of the movie so you could, you know, kind of watch it on a bootleg DVD that you bought off the guy in front of the party store.
Yeah.
But now you're sending digital files everywhere, right? So, you know, people that are remotely working on, you know, putting these films together in their final moments, doing the, you know, whatever, the final sound production and color correction and all these things, and putting together the, you know, the cuts, the previews and all that stuff. These are all digital files. Like, you're telling me that somebody isn't going to, like, watch that and then go, oh my God, I got to see the new Black Widow film, and I showed it to my buddy, and then all of a sudden it's just magically poof out there.
Yeah, I've been to Hood in a while. Is the bootleg man still a thing?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
That's another thing technology killed.
Well, I don't know.
R.I.P. the bootleg
probably
guy.
Not. Yeah, there's probably a lot of functional DVD players out there in the hood.
Or just did the...
And it might be, with the ability now to actually get digital files and burn them to a DVD and not have it be a handy cam version, then it might mean that their business is booming.
Yeah. Here's up on Twitter. Let's know if you know if the bootleg man's still around. I used to work with a guy who was a bootleg guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like it was when I worked at a store in Pontiac. Like the guy that worked during the day. I'll refrain from using his name. But yeah, when he was done, he would go, he would walk across the street and go hustle bootlegs out in front of I forget what it was across the street. You do this? You do that? That was that's how he made money after work. He had kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, like, hey, you can't do that on our property, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, good. go across the street.
In the 90s, we bought tons of those.
Well, yeah, we just did it musically. He was just doing DVDs.
Right. No, I probably bought some bootleg CDs too, but no, we bought DVDs. I remember watching, it wasn't Armageddon, but it was one of those types of movies, one of the popular disaster films of the pre-2000s, when real disasters started happening, those became less popular. But when everything was going great, and we didn't fear nuclear war anymore, then we were like, hey, how about earthquakes and tornadoes and asteroids and all this shit?
Oh, yeah, the late 90s? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was I think it was 98 was the summer of volcanoes and asteroids.
Yeah. So one of them, what was it called? It had that actress that I had a crush on for the longest time. That was also in... I can't remember anything right now. She was the therapist in the Ben Stiller movie where he's trying to find his real parents.
Tia Leone?
Yes. She was in a disaster film.
Yes, she was. But
I can't remember what it. I think it was an asteroid. It was literally like the same concept, or it was called Deep Impact, wasn't it? Or was that the porn version?
That sounds like a porn.
Yeah, I think I just heard Tia Leone and Deep Impact, and I'm like, I'm in. Here's my $8, my man.
Deep Impact, according to the internet.
Yes, I remember watching it. Like, somebody literally recorded this thing from the first row, and Tia Leone's chin, she looked like Jay Leno.
Old Madam President herself.
That's right.
Or no, Madam Secretary. Or whatever.
Oh, is that the show? Yeah, that's right.
My wife
something
watches
like that.
it.
One of those shows.
Flirting with Disaster. How the fuck did I even remember? Like, I can't even remember what movie that was, but you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I used to have. I guess I used to have a thing for a certain type of woman. I guess in the 90s, because it was my two big crushes were Tia Leone, and I cannot remember the woman who was played David Duchovny's girlfriend in California. Michelle Forbes.
I don't even know who that is. Let's see what the internet has to say about her.
You've seen Michelle Forbes in some other stuff, I think. But she was in something recently, some TV show.
She's got a manly jawline.
I think that's what it was. A strong jawline.
Apparently she did an episode of Star Trek. This is a picture in their Google Images. It's a picture of her with the Starfleet emblem in a uniform.
Yes, if a woman had a strong jaw and could rock bangs that were cut like a little too short.
See, some of these pictures, I think...
That works.
She's hot, and some of these pictures, I think she looks like a man.
Why not both?
That's right. It's
You're
2020.
saying men can't be hot?
Yes. to me,
Yes, if we're taking opinions, I'd like to chalk mine up as no, they cannot.
I'm aware, like, a man can be attractive. Like, I'm aware, like, hey, that's a good-looking dude. But
hot implies intention, though,
yes,
right?
Exactly, yes. Hot implies if you put something on me that could measure circumference, that it would, measure, it would move.
Right. Hot implies it does something on the tumescent meter.
Yes. I'm like sorry, sorry. Cover your ears, folks. If you're triggered, I'm heterosexual. Like, I'm attracted to the opposite sex, and it's okay.
Oh my God! You know what? I have to say, I think you're brave for coming out on this podcast.
Yes, coming out as heterosexual.
I think it was a brave choice. You were just like, screw it. I don't care if I'm going to lose listeners.
Yeah,
I got to be me.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm wired to make other people. It's just how it is.
So I guess Charlize Theron's kind of like that too, right?
Yeah, she's got her moments. I think it's just short. I think maybe it's when she has the short hair.
Yeah. I think that's what does it for me. I'm into chicks. I'm into the short hair.
Well, no, I meant for me, that's when it doesn't do it for me.
Right.
Like, when she's got the long hair, I'm like, yes. What was it? What was it in the 90s? It was like the pixie type chick.
Yeah.
Looked like Tinkerbell without wings.
It was all over it.
I was more into the t-shirt and jean chicks. The chicks who'd wear the baby doll t-shirts, the rock band baby doll t-shirts in the 90s.
Oh.
That's more what I was chasing.
I was chasing white tank top and fat pants.
And the bell-bottom pants. Well, I wasn't chasing fat pants. But I was going for more the alternative hippie chicks. Those types.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Of all the streaming services out there, only one is different. Discovery Plus. It's the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet. 55,000 episodes of food, love, true crime, home, from networks like TLC, HGTV, and tons more. Yes! With stars like Chip and Jo, an exclusive new series from 90 Day Fiancé, all in one place. Bam! Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to sold.
Pop stars with auto-tune.
Yeah.
And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Speaking of movies, though, there was another preview for the New Mutants movie, a movie that I've been looking forward to since it was announced. What seems like 8-10 years ago or something.
Right.
Forever ago.
Hey, by the way, I realized this today. Neil Peart died this year, not like 3 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like when he died, like 2018. I was like, oh no, it's January.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, Peter Green died over the weekend.
Oh, the guy who when Fleetwood Mac didn't suck when he was a part of it.
Right. He was Fleetwood Mac's Sid Barrett.
Yeah, the guy he was around for the first album, and then that was it.
I guess the difference being that Pink Floyd went on to make good music after Sid Barrett.
That's true.
Rumors is a good pop album. Like, I enjoy. There's Fleetwood Mac songs that I enjoy, but for the most part, none of it I confuse with like deep and meaningful and lasting music. I guess I'd probably have to chalk most of my enjoyment of Fleetwood Mac from the fact that it was drilled into my head since childhood.
By what, your parents?
Well, just everywhere, everyone. Like, it was on the radio. It was Everyone had a copy of Rumors, at least. Some bought Tusk.
Yeah, that's just for me.
The true fans.
It was like a core artist for fucking shitty, soft radio formats.
Yeah.
It was Slack's buying music. You're always going to hear "Go Your Own Way," "Tell Me Lies."
See, even those songs have a special place in my heart. I just think that they're good, fun pop songs.
But I want to hear them 9,000 times. And then this is also just way cooler.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Fleetwood Mac is, I guess Peter Green was a pretty well-known musician before he even formed Fleetwood Mac. And, he was a guitarist that people were looking at, like him and Eric Clapton as being, the future of guitar. They were taking all these blues licks into the next century.
And what happened?
I guess people describe Peter Green as an acid casualty, and I think that's a little unfair. In much the same way, I think there's a lot of similarities between him and Syd Barrett. It's people who probably, whether they ever took drugs, psychedelic drugs in their life or not, would have dealt with some sort of, whether it was just depression or, bipolar or schizophrenia or something like that. They would have some sort of mental ailment anyway, and doing a shit ton of acid and mescaline just kind of rushed things along.
Yeah.
Much in how we've actually talked on this show about, there's been all these stories about mental illness and cannabis use, and people saying that it can cause psychosis. Where really most of the studies seem to indicate that people who are prone to, or I don't know.
But yeah, helps it along. But basically you're. Well, whatever. I feel now like even if you try to describe something weird, people might get whatever. If your brains are already scrambled, adding shit that will scramble them on purpose ain't gonna help. That's the shorthand version.
Yeah, right. It doesn't mean that cannabis is going to give you psychosis, and that taking acid will make you schizophrenic. I don't believe either are true.
Your chemistry's already off. Altering it on purpose ain't helping.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Peter Green. Did you see Regis died?
And Regis, yeah.
Finally. I mean, in the nicest way.
Regis
was old when we were kids.
Yeah. Regis was always like that.
Was he like
grandpa
90?
With the bad jokes? He was 88.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, guy had to be fucking old.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't bring him up because I don't really have anything to say about Regis, other than the fact that, I never found that guy funny.
Right?
Like, what was the deal with Regis? Why did everyone love him? Why was he always on a television show of some sort?
Because he wasn't.
What was his talent? Did he ever do anything other than host weird shows?
His talent was not offending people. That's why.
Yeah.
He was a glass of whole milk.
Yep.
He was someone that you could put on your television show and you knew you weren't going to get letters.
Yeah. A safe bet.
Yeah. I mean, and credit to him. I mean, he was a daytime talk show. When I was a kid, he was known for being a daytime talk show host, and he did a nice pivot later in his career into game show host, and he picked the right show because he was a house in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was a household name.
Yep.
Got that millionaire money. Was probably able to trade in his wife. Or no, he was married. No, never mind. He was married to the same chick for 60 years, wasn't he?
I believe so. But yeah, it was kind of a perfect job for him.
Well, he had new wife money, is what I was saying. He never used it.
Yeah.
But he had it.
I think Regis Philbin's talent was padding for time. Like, just whatever you're talking about, just play it out. Just keep going until the commercial. You know, like, to be able to play into building up all this ridiculous false tension in these, and asking these questions on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I couldn't do it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you asked me to host Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it would be 10 minutes long.
Well, too, also in those kind of situations, I mean, you got to, you're right, padding for time, because if a lot of times you could have a dud sitting there, like someone who's just there to answer questions.
Yep.
And doesn't realize that, you got to kind of have a back and forth going on.
That's not good at, like, thinking out loud.
Yeah. Well, he had 2 wives. His first wife, 13 years. 55 to 68.
Well, I know it was a different time, but I think that's too young to get married.
And then...
Never mind.
Joy...
You said 13 years, like, I took it as 13 years old. Thank you.
Yes. And then he married Joy Philbin in 1970. So, yeah, they married for 50 years. When was the first spouse?
Wait, you're telling me he wasn't married to Kathy Lee?
What? Well, his first wife is 91 years old. I was going to say, what happened? Did she die? 13 years. Seems like a long time to just, the next one stuck.
Wait,
50 years.
What years were...
He's married from 55 to 68 to Catherine Phelan.
And then...
Joy Philbin since 1970. He took 2 years off.
When did his career take off?
Let's see. Are we finding the dark side of Regis? He did trade up. He just traded up early. He should have waited till like 95.
I don't know. Like, if I could go back and date in any decade as an adult, I'd go back to the 70s. His middle name he has 2 middle names. Regis Francis Xavier Philbin.
RFXP. Those are awesome initials.
Holy shit. What a great name.
I mean,
where does Regis come from anyway? Like, that's literally his born... I would have figured that he was... that name was made up for television or something.
Philbin gained his first network TV exposure in 1967 as Joey Bishop's sidekick on the Joey Bishop Show. When did he get divorced? 1968.
Yep.
There you go. You nailed it. Crazy how that works.
Yeah.
His Google card picture is rough because I think it's him now. His hair's all white. He looks 88.
I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't a... I don't see any radio. Oh, no, wait, yeah. Oh, no. No, that's AM as in the morning. It wasn't an AM station.
And he's one of the few people that... He's in the category of you can just say his first name and you know who he's talking about.
Right, because there's not another Regis.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck does that name come from?
Well, he was born in 1931, so I'm guessing maybe it's the name of the time. I mean, come on, all these old names were resurfacing with the girls. Why didn't it happen with the boys? Why aren't there a bunch of Regises in middle school right now?
Well, I guess there were some famous Regises. I mean, I'm not familiar with any of these people, and they were all...
I was going to say, is Regis Philbin the only white Regis?
It's French politician Regis Baralia, French scholar, French. It's a French name, huh? A Brazilian fencer born in 1962, Regis Avalia. But you think there would be at least some Regises floating around there that would have been named for him?
Like, this sounds like a brother name to me.
There's born in 1976, Brazilian Association football player Regis Pitbull. I think he wasn't born with that name. Regis Fernandes Silva was his born name.
Oh, he added the Pitbull? Is that Pitbull? Isn't there like a Hotel St. Regis?
I don't know.
Regis Toomey, American actor.
Yeah, I saw that dude, and he was like from like 89 to 92. Like, really, you thought you could get away with being the other Regis?
Oh, yeah. It's in Detroit. Hotel St. Regis.
Oh, it is? Is it a crack den now?
Well, its average rating is a 3.6. 14% 1 stars.
Well, not much news on cannabis this week. A lot of local stories. You know, I think we were talking earlier about how there's been some shops opening up around Michigan. You know, a lot of low consequence local stories about regulations and who can open up and how many stores and all this. But there was some possibly big news. This is just rumor. There hasn't been an official statement, but the rumor is that that Congress is going to be voting on the Home Act.
What is the Home Act?
So the Home we've talked about before, and we've mentioned this not as much as the CARES Act, which was the big one that seems like a lot of the Democrats especially were pushing for. Oh, I'm sorry. This was the MORE Act, not the Home Act. I was only one letter off.
The MORE Act?
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's true.
The MORE Act would federally deschedule cannabis, expunge the records of those with prior marijuana convictions, and impose a federal 5% tax on sales of cannabis, revenue from which would be reinvested in communities most impacted by the drug war.
Let me guess. It's a House bill? This doesn't sound like how the Senate rolls.
Yeah, so yes, it is. And again, this is just a rumor that they're planning on putting this up for a vote in September. Yeah, the House being...
Kamala Harris is the sponsor of it.
Being Democrat-led right now, we could expect this would pass fairly easily, but getting through the Senate...
Yeah, fun Senate.
Yeah. In September, I don't know. I mean, I know that conservatives, a lot of them are coming around on cannabis. But the idea of pushing legalization right before an election... I think you're going to find too many of them still that are going to be like, that's a bad look.
Yeah. And
we'll do that after the election, maybe.
And then that you about to lose your job lady comes up.
Wait, which lady?
Come on, you're all, you about to lose your job? Hold on. I'm sure you've heard this audio. I'm sure you've seen this video, especially when you, being on Twitter.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me.
This is chick getting arrested at a strip club.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is the remix. Yeah. This would start playing if cannabis legalization happens in September.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if I think that the person, even if I think they're right, I still hate that attitude.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's kind of a more of a white woman thing overall. Of like, I'm going to make a call to the right people and get you fired.
Well, it's a Twitter thing too. You know, it's everywhere. Why does someone have to lose?
You're all a bunch of Karens.
Why does someone have to lose their livelihood because you don't like something they did or are doing to you? Sometimes shit sucks. It's all about how you react to it. Although if that lady had not reacted like that, we wouldn't have that video or that remix.
Well, she made it into a nice little song.
Yeah, right. And allegedly, that gentleman did not lose his job. He's still allowed to guard the titties.
Yep. Right. I'm sure that woman what was the story about the woman who went into like a Starbucks or something like that, didn't have a mask, the barista refused to serve her, and she threw a fit, and I'm sure she was like, oh, you're going to lose your job over this. And instead, when she put him on blast, everyone on social media tended to agree with the barista and ended up starting a GoFundMe page, and now the guy's $100,000 richer. And the woman who started this whole debacle over throwing a fit over having to wear a mask inside of a place is now suing for half of that money, saying that she's responsible for him getting that $100,000.
Well, I mean,
and I'm like, no, yeah, like maybe you were the inciting incident, yes, but the whole reason that the people were giving the money to him is to screw you.
And a lawyer would jump on what you just said. Let's say the right lawyer. She might actually get a piece of that.
Yeah, no, like inciting incident, like a butterfly's wings flap on one coast and cause a tidal wave on the other.
That pile of money doesn't exist without that chick.
Nah, she would have to have an active. She would have to actively be, trying to acquire that money for the person.
I bet
she has no claim.
I bet Jeff Feiger could get her a piece of it.
I'm sure there's lawyers that are willing to try and make that case, but I can't see how she'd be successful. Because these are individuals who are giving money to an individual. You can't just take somebody's funds and redistribute. Oh, wait, we can do that. We do that all the time.
Happens every 2 weeks.
Wait, we do that. Well, I wish somebody would put us on blast.
Right.
And then people would donate. Like, if you manage to blast us so hard that we get $100,000 in tips, I'll give you half.
Right?
Like,
oh, yeah.
Let's start a grift.
Oh, yeah. Be like, what was that movie? I said, what was it? The Atheist and the Preacher went on tour together? Hell yeah.
Right. It'll be like The Producers.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We'll say some vile shit about Nazis.
Hold on. Is The Producers canceled, by the way? You know the name of the musical in that, right? Springtime for Hitler.
Oh, yeah.
So is Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick, are they canceled? Really? Still?
Well, since satire is dead, I think, oh, yeah, you can hear some of the fireworks. Yeah, still.
It's August, essentially.
Since satire is dead, then we just have to cancel everyone who's engaged in any kind of satire.
Right.
You're all canceled. Because you know what? We just don't know anymore. Like, you say it's satire, but how do we know that you didn't hate in your heart?
Yeah, how do we know The Producers isn't dog whistle Nazism?
Yeah.
I can't wait. When we're senior citizens, the world's going to be perfect. I can't fucking wait, dude. All inequality is going to be solved. All our leaders will be perfect human beings. It's going to be awesome. And if you fail, millennials and Gen Z, I'm looking at you. The bar is now high.
I can't get this grift out of my head. There's got to be people doing that now. Somebody has to have figured this out. Like, all we got to do is get a couple assholes, to be rude to each other and be on separate sides of some sort of political debate, and then then a GoFundMe page gets started, and then they end up just splitting the money.
Yeah, it always happens. Drew and Mike talk about it all the time. A GoFundMe page always shows up for all these people involved in all these stupid things we hear about. Let's get Rich drunk and have him on. We'll get someone to fucking...
Yeah, he'll offend somebody.
Yeah. Someone will put us on blast.
It's time to wrap up. I'm getting too high. I've been puffing off resin. my live resin. And I'm starting to get that feeling in my head.
Yeah, for me,
it's like I've been slapped upside the head.
And for me, it's just more like starting to be, just the eyelids are heavy, the mouth is half agape. That feeling. I think you and I are probably describing the same feeling in different ways. So it's time to remind you that we are on Twitter at the Weisman420, on Instagram at the Weisman Podcast. The Weisman Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net is the email address. Go to ChristopherMedia.net. Make Jeff Bezos some more money. Hit the Amazon banner, and it helps us out too when you do that. There's also a PayPal button if you'd like to give us a couple bucks. couple quarters, whatever.
No, but what's great about the Amazon banner is it actually takes money from Bezos, right?
Yeah, it's true. We get a little.
It's like you're taking. It's like Robin Hood.
Yeah,
you're taking some fractions of pennies out of his pocket and putting them in ours.
Yes. So do that. And then we are wherever there is a podcast. We are there. Apple Podcast, the original, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Everywhere there is a podcatcher, you can find us. So thanks for listening, and stay high.
Stay high.
Of all the streaming services out there, only one is different. Discovery Plus. It's the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet. 55,000 episodes of food, love, true crime, home, from networks like TLC, HGTV, and tons more. Yes! With stars like Chip and Jo, an exclusive new series from 90 Day Fiancé, all in one place. Bam! Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.